Alright guys, today I have a video I've been trying to do for quite a while. I just didn't have the time, but I found some time, so we're going to do the video. If you did not know, this is MUD, FIM Motocross World Championship. It is developed by Milestone, the same people that bring you MXGP and Supercross, so I'm not surprised that the title is a bit wordy, but today I want to ask you the question: was MUD a good motocross game? Was it a good game? Was it a fun game? Did you enjoy it? And if you haven't played it, based off what you see here, would you say it was a good motocross game? It came out quite a while ago. I don't remember the release date, but it was a while, so it is a bit dated, and it isn't... It's a very, 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 very arcade, even cartoony motocross game. When I play this game, it feels like I'm playing a cartoon sometimes, and the way the video is going to be set up, the format to the video, the layout to the video, just so you know what you're going to see, is I have a full race here against the extreme difficulty, which could be tough sometimes, and then after a bit, in about a minute, I'm going to cut away and show you a few things in the game that I wanted to capture so that I had reference to show you when I start talking about it. So, and then we cut back to the race and we'll finish it. So that's the way the video is going to be set up. And the main question: was MUD a good motocross game? That's what we're going to talk about, because in the motocross game genre, we don't get too many games. I mean, Milestone used to give us 1 or 2 games every year, but that appears to be changing. They have all but dropped MXGP for the time being, and Supercross, we really don't know. It could be the end. Maybe we're done. We really don't know. So with that being said, there isn't too many options out there for motocross games compared to other stuff, but arcade cartoony. Here in the career, you could choose from heroes. They actually called them heroes, and then you could go to the trick shop and buy tricks. Now, it's the same as if you were to just unlock them as you played, but the way they presented them was a bit weird and made it feel kind of cartoony. Then you could take your newly purchased tricks and newly unlocked hero and put him on the 2-stroke and go do some freestyle. They had a few different freestyle arenas that you could go to. This is just one of them, and the freestyle, it wasn't very good. The ramps were really weird and the tricks didn't look that great, and the freestyle really wasn't that good, but it's cool that they put it in the game. Now, the game did have some realistic stuff about it. We had the real-life riders on the real-life bike on the real-life teams, and that was kind of cool for MX1 and MX2. We had the real-life venues where the tracks would be for MXGP, I believe, but the tracks themselves is a different story, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But they had the real-life venues, and we also did have motocross destinations. We had motocross destinations with Villapoto and Dungey from the real-life place where it was, and it was really cool. But the tracks, coming back to what I wanted to say about the tracks felt very fantasy. The venues were real, but the tracks didn't feel like replicas. Now, I don't know that for sure. That's just an assumption. I really don't know. Maybe they were replicas or based off of a replica, but they felt really fantasy. And the reason I say that is because, specifically from Germany, that track didn't resemble the real-life track whatsoever. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you know, but yeah, it feels very fantasy, but the venues were real. The riders, the teams, and the bikes. So it had some real about it, but very, very, very arcade and cartoony. I mean, we kind of give Milestone a tough time about the whips once in a while because they're kind of canned whips to some degree. But in this game, they were literally a push button whip. You literally hit A before you left the jump, and it was a canned animation, and that's all you could do. That was it. And then if you landed it just right, you could get a good or a perfect speed boost. So you had to whip in the game, but it really wasn't that fun. I mean, it was just so canned. It was a literal push button whip. So the whips that Milestone came up with a bit later were way, 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 way better than this. So this is where they came from. Now you kind of have an idea of maybe why the whips are the way they are in Milestone games. And then you had an actual energy drink. You had an actual energy drink to give yourself more energy to go faster and whatnot. It just... That's the cartoony side to it. not even the arcade, because MX versus ATV is arcade, but not to this degree, right? MX vs ATV Supercross Encore, very arcade, jumping entire rhythm sections and not that realistic, but it had some realistic stuff about it. You still had to maintain momentum, you could whip and control the whips, and you still had to try to downside your landing and just maintain a good rhythm. It still had some stuff about it that made sense. This game, even less so. And then Alive kind of leaned more towards realism, and then Reflex I felt like was kind of an in-between. It was done really, really well for the simcade genre, but this isn't simcade. This is strictly arcade, like purely arcade, no simulation about it whatsoever, and then cartoony. And when I say cartoony, it feels like I'm playing a cartoon with the picking the heroes and the art style, the way the graphics are, and the way the game is laid out. It just feels like I'm playing a cartoon, which isn't a bad thing. It's weird. I've never seen a game quite like this before or after it came out. It's kind of its own thing. It's its own type of game, I guess. So very cartoony, very arcade, and in my opinion, I think it's an okay game. I don't think it's a great game, but I don't think it's a terribly bad game. I saw a couple of reviews of some people that were really disappointed in it because one person said they came from Reflex, I believe, and they were looking for another fun motocross game, and they came to this one and were really disappointed. Of course, if you're looking for something similar to Reflex, this is not where I would begin looking. For sure not. And I can see where you might be very disappointed. And then I saw some people that were disappointed because it appears that the online servers don't work anymore. So, yeah, that sucks, but I'm not really going to take away from the game because the servers don't work anymore. I mean, it's a very old game. So, I think if you go into this game looking at it for what it is at face value, cartoon, arcade, I'm going to repeat those very often for the rest of the video, but cartoon, arcade, I think you can have some fun. It was a single stick control game, and it was really easy for the most part. Yes, the AI could be kind of tough sometimes on extreme difficulty from certain tracks, but for the most part, it was pretty easy, but there was some fun to be had. If you don't take it serious, I mean, there's no way Milestone made this game with the intentions of it being serious. There's no way they made this game and thought to themselves, this is a good simcade game. This game, people are going to think, is really realistic. I mean, they gave us a push-button whip with speed boost, and they gave us an energy drink. And they called the riders and the career heroes. I mean, there just is no way they took this serious or expected the players to take it serious. We were supposed to take it for fun, dumb, easy, arcade, cartoon fun, right? That just has to be the way they intended for the game to be taken. And I think if you look at it that way and expect that going into it, you can have some fun. I think it can be an okay game, a kind of fun game. No, it's not the best motocross game ever. It's probably towards below average, but you could have fun. We don't get a ton of motocross games in our genre. We really don't. If you're on console, you have to eliminate MX Sim and MX Bikes. And even if you're not, I mean, well, let's just say you're not. You eliminate those two games. You eliminate any mods for Reflex or any other game out there, and you're pretty much stuck. I mean, for new games, all you have is Legends, which is a year old, but it is getting updated regularly, which is great. And Supercross 6 came out early this year. So really, you have two current games to play, and the rest is going to be old stuff. I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of games out there, but we don't get new games. It's not like we get a new Call of Duty every year. I mean, with Milestone seemingly have dropped MXGP, and with Supercross kind of up in the air and in limbo whether that game will happen, that's 2 games a year we're not going to get anymore. And I'm fine with them. I don't want them to drop it. What I wanted them to do was improve the game. That's what I wanted from them, but it looks like they might have just completely pulled out of dirt bike stuff. So that's 2 games we're not going to get anymore, with the hopes of every year of seeing the game improve. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. I think it's an okay game if you take it at face value for what it is, cartoon and arcade. Cartoony, arcadey, all that stuff. Let me know what you guys think and why you think it's a great game. Is it your favorite game? Have you ever played it? Let's have a discussion. That's what this video is about. I really want to have your guys' opinions and see what you think, and talk to you about it. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thanks so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.